Hello everyone, you're welcome to another movie review. My name is Oris Daniel. Kindly click on the red button to subscribe, like this video so it can be recommended to many other people. You're welcome. Alright, kindly help me like this video to support this channel. Like this video. Alright, today we will be talking about My Dream. My Dream is a movie from the stables of the Mountzion Film Productions, Nigeria. Alright, My Dream was directed by Richard Omidiwura and it was written and produced by Gloria Bamiloye herself, Evangelist Gloria Bamiloye herself, the veteran actress. Alright, we'll be diving in straight to the casting now. Rotimi Amodu plays Mr. Ishola, Gloria Bamiloye plays Mrs. Ishola, Mommy Tunde, and Shola Mike Abgola plays teacher, and Victor Tegbade plays Deolu, and Imoyera Joshua plays Tunde, and Adeniran Modupe plays Mama Deolu, and Titilola Ayola plays Grandma, and then many other casts that featured in the film. Alright, My Dream tells the story of a particular man named Mr. Ishola, played by Rotimi Amodu, who married two wives, and one of the first wife, the second wife's son, which is Deolu, had a dream, just like Joseph in the Bible, that he was going to be great in life, but the first wife, of course, played by Gloria Bamiloye, was jealous, and she said that dream would never come to pass. And she's and her parent helped to aid her evil, the dream materializing, and they gave him, and at the end times backfire. Her son chased her out of the house. A lot happened. Head on to Damilola Mike Bamiloye channel to get the full gist of the whole story. Alright, let's dive in straight to the things I really enjoyed about My Dream from the stables of the Mountzion Film Productions. One thing was that the director did a great job in directing his cast. You can tell that Richard Omidiwura was heavy on his cast, and he delivered that to an almost perfect level. Richard Omidiwura was so heavy on the characters and was so heavy on the cast, and he saw to it that the cast interpreted their roles and suited their roles perfectly. That's one thing I love about the movie, directing of the casts. The next thing was that I liked the fact that the casts were all put in their all the cast were all made to play roles that are out of the box, roles that are far away from their personalities in real life. You can see Gloria Bamiloye playing the role of a teenage mother, playing the role of mother to teenagers, and she was playing the role of like a woman in her early 40s or middle 40s or thereabouts, and she did it brilliantly. You could tell that the director and the costumer paid attention to the directing and paid attention to her costumes, how her costumes should look like. They made sure that they were loud colors, and they made sure that she didn't put on maybe buba, hetai, and maybe costumes that would make her look like she was in her 60s or late 50s. She put on the appropriate costumes, and Gloria Bamiloye herself she really interpreted that role very, very well, in the sense that you could tell that she really rehearsed for this role. She knew that she was playing the role of somebody in her early to middle 40s. Gloria Bamiloye was very careful with the way she spoke, the way she moved her body gestures, the way she acted, and the way she reacted, and the whole character just embodied everything. You could tell that she was very careful to maintain that character of a woman in her early 40s, and she delivered well. Kudos to Gloria Bamiloye for an excellent performance. Also, Victor Tegbade, who acted as the teenage Deolu, sustained it to the end. You could see that he sustained his teenage boy role to the end. The way he talked like a teenager, he acted like a teenager, the way his body gestures were like that of a teenager, and you could tell that when he graduated and became a youth corporal, he switched. He now knew that it was time to become a youth, and he switched, and he switched personality to that of a youth, which he did excellently. Kudos to him. I love Tomisin and Sewedo Wusa's combo as Deolu's friends. They were so crazy, and they gave it their best. They were so the chemistry between the both, and they played these mischievous friends of a good boy, and they did it very, very well. They were so comfortable on the set, and it was just like real life. I love Shola Mike Abgola's acting as well. He really did justice to the role. He was so comfortable on set, and there was no tension. He just was doing him, and it was not like he was doing it was not like he was acting. He was just doing him, and then he killed the role. He nailed the role. Next one was Imoyera Joshua. Also had a brilliant performance. He acted well. he played Tunde. He acted very, very well. His gestures, the way he spoke, the way he reacted, suited the lines, suited the character, suited the situation, and suited the moment. Kudos to Joshua Imoyera. And the message was great. You know, I learned from Deolu's experience that not all good news or not all opportunities are the right time, come in the right time, or not all opportunities are from God. You know, when his girlfriend wanted to seduce him and like take him out to travel out of the country, and he refused. He read a scripture and he refused, and the scripture revealed that that was not his opportunity yet. So that was a great lesson, and I really gained much from that particular scene. So the message of my dream was superb and was great. And also Rotimi Amodu did a brilliant job as Mr. Shola. He was this frustrated man that was having two wives that had problems, and you could see the frustration in his face. You could see the frustration all over him. You could tell that Rotimi Amodu did a great job in acting this role. Now to the things that didn't really sit quite well with me about the movie My Dream. All right, 50 minutes into the film, we could see that Deolu was still a secondary school student 50 minutes into the movie, and the movie was 1 hour 24 minutes long. And then few minutes to just the end of the movie, it was now presented that Deolu had become a youth corper. I just feel like that was a bit unrealistic. I wish he was a youth corper earlier, before when it was portrayed. I mean, the time spent in him being a secondary school student should have been reduced and replaced with him being a youth corper to make the whole thing blend and realistic. This also brings to my point whereby I felt there were some little scenes that were not needed or were kind of unnecessary and could have still been done without, and the message would have still been passed. The sound ceased at some point, just a little. The sound ceased at some point and then came back on. Next thing that didn't really sit quite well with My Dream, the movie, was the scene where Mr. Ishola, who was presented to us as a disciplinarian father who flogged his son Tunde for just telling lies about the lesson teacher or something in the beginning scene of the movie. Mr. Ishola was seen in the scene where Tunde walks into the house with his girlfriend, and then Mr. Ishola, who is presented or who is portraying this role of a disciplinarian father, just looks at him and walks away. I just feel like since Mr. Ishola was portrayed to us as a disciplinarian father, he wouldn't just overlook that for his wife to attend to. I mean, the girlfriend of Tutunde came into the house and Mr. Ishola did not do anything about it, and then she even insulted his wife. Mr. Ishola walked away earlier, and then the girlfriend insulted his wife. I just felt like, as portrayed earlier, Mr. Ishola was a disciplinarian father, and he wouldn't tolerate his son bringing in a girl into the house, and he wouldn't even do anything about it. I just felt like Mr. Ishola could have reacted, could have scolded or accosted Tunde immediately at that scene, and to blend that what they portrayed in the beginning of the film as he was a disciplinarian father. He should have accosted Tunde in the beginning, then probably maybe later on when he calms down, then he should sit with Tunde to converse and discuss one-on-one. But him just overlooking it and then talking to Tunde in a very peaceful manner, and even telling him, your mother was right, you should learn to listen to your mother was right. I just felt like Mr. Ishola could have been made to react first, then cool down later on. Next thing was the storyline. I just felt like the storyline could have been better. The storyline is beautiful and the message is great, but I just felt like it could have been better, looking at it from the angle of the fact that it was written by Gloria Bamiloye. You know her from Gloria Bamiloye, who wrote she wrote House on Fire, she wrote Block 10, Family Next Door, Mother-in-Law, and a couple of great movies. So I expected that the story could have been developed better, and though the message was great, but I felt like the packaging of the story and the packaging of the story could have been done better, probably by the director or the writer, Gloria Bamiloye herself. It was brilliant, but I felt it could have still been better. So My Dream was actually a good message, but a kind of not well packaged story. Like, I just felt like there were one or two things that needed to be added and subtracted to make the story sophisticated as the message. Next thing was that one of the scene where Deolu was in school and where he discussed with the girl who was throwing herself at him, and he brought out a phone from his bag, and I'm like, this is a secondary school. Most secondary schools do not allow phones, and Deolu is being portrayed as a good boy. He's this kind of a good boy person. He's a good boy. He's a good boy in the movie. I just felt like him holding a phone in the school premises or in the classroom or in the school premises was inappropriate for his character. They should have probably used the laptop or a hard copy Bible instead of Deolu, who is supposed to be a good boy, holding a handset in school and using it to read his scripture or using it to read the Bible. We all know that most secondary schools do not allow phones. There are many secondary schools who are technologically inclined, but the highest, I think the best they can do is allow students operate computers in the school or probably bring in laptops to school. But say allowing students to bring in handsets or phones to the school, I think that would be a big distraction to students, and there is no good school that will allow students to be with phones in school. So Deolu should have been made to use a hard copy Bible. Another thing that I felt was a bit inappropriate was the fact that the girl in secondary school, that's Deolu's classmate, who was throwing herself at him, saying that her father is ready to sponsor or send him abroad with her, whoever wants to marry her abroad with her. I just felt like most Nigerian dads won't do that. Most Nigerian dads won't do that. If she had graduated from the university or is graduating from the university, or she had graduated from the university and it's about going abroad, it's a different ball game entirely. But a girl who has not written her WAEC and the father is promising her that he's ready to sponsor her or take her abroad with whoever is going to be her husband, I just felt like that should have been replaced, or that should have been replaced with another concept to make it more realistic, because Nigerian dads will never accept their daughter who is still in secondary school, who has not written her WAEC, to be planning on going abroad with a boy or with a man who is ready to be her future husband. Also, I also felt like the conflict resolution of the movie My Dream was not complete, and except if there is a My Dream season 2 or part 2, I just felt like the two wives issue has not yet been settled. Like Mr. Ishola still having two wives, I just felt like that should be corrected. And even if Mama Deolu, even if the matter has been settled, Mama Deolu has to leave that house for the first wife, Gloria Bamiloye's character, to take over her home. Because actually, looking at it from the biblical or scriptural point of view, Mama Tunde is the rightful owner of that home, no matter how good and peaceful Mama Deolu is. So that should have been settled. And also, I also saw the last scene towards the ending. I saw the teacher was delivering only Tunde. Tunde is not the culprit. Gloria Bamiloye's character is the culprit. So I felt like she is the one that needed that deliverance even more. And also the entire Isholas needed to be delivered. That was what I felt for that particular deliverance scene. Not only Tunde. Tunde was just a kind of a victim, some sort of victim. But I felt like the main culprit is Gloria Bamiloye. She was the one that dropped the charm, so she should be the one that is delivered, and she should be the one confessing and be delivered from it. But Gloria Bamiloye's character was only made to confess and then return back to her husband's house. Also, some interior scenes felt too dark. I just felt like some interior scenes that were supposed to be portrayed or were supposed to be bright, lighted brightly, were so dark that at some point you could even try hard to see the faces of the characters.